Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dissecting Liberty podcast. This is a cottonless podcast. It's only me, Liberty Zero, here today, but I am joined by a guest, and that's Alex Utopian from Twitter. So, how's it going, Alex?
It's going great. Norway, I appreciate Norway more and more as the more news I see from the United States.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy over here.
It is, doesn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, you'll have to tell us a little bit more about kind of what's going on over there and how all the COVID regulations are affecting your country. But real quick, like we discussed, I'm going to have you give your plugs up front because I'm worried about forgetting them later. So go ahead and tell us where you can or where we can find you.
I am blogging at utopium.blog, which is my personal site, and then you can find my work at agoristnexus.com and newlibertarian.io. For social media, I'm mostly on Twitter, which you can hit me up there through @utopiantinker.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll link all that in the show description. We're gonna have the our retarded boomer producer do that, and sounds good. But it actually Cotton does it, so I had to get a little jab in there. But yeah, just
when he's not here to defend himself, it's all good, right?
That's right. You know, he's gonna be listening to this, and he's gonna be seething, and I'm going to enjoy knowing that. So, but if you wanted to go into kind of how COVID, and maybe even like I'm sure that you may be experiencing some like an economic recession, kind of like most of the world is right now. If you just wanted to go into that a little bit and like how it is up there in Norway.
Norway's we are in the recovery phase right now. I'm just waiting for the second wave to hit.
Yeah.
But Norway wasn't hit that bad by the COVID-19, but the government decided to lock the country down, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Better safe than sorry was the philosophy behind that. And in my home country in Sweden, which is like 3 hours from where I'm sitting right now.
Yeah.
Even less, actually. My home time is 3 hours away. But there they took a all hands off approach, which is like I was so surprised that the Swedish government did exactly that.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to just lock all the doors and throw away the keys.
Yeah, here in the United States, we tend to think of like the Scandinavian countries as more like socialist, but
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
from what I've heard and read, it's actually a little bit more. I mean, you do have a welfare state, but it's not quite like the government isn't quite as authoritarian, I guess, and it's a little bit more free market economically speaking.
Yeah, yes and no. It depends on what you're focusing where you put your focus on, right? Because the systems are so different, but they're very similar yet, right? And depending on the day, depending on what I'm looking at, it's more authoritarian here or than over at your place. But and then the next day, I find out something different nuance, and then my opinion on it flips, right?
Right.
So it all depends on what you're looking at and what moment you're looking at it. Today, for example, so the police officers in Sweden can decide that you're a piece of shit and they just won't allow you inside the country. They don't need to take any political decision or anything like that. They just put you on a list and then they say, okay, see you in 2 years. You're not allowed inside the country, unless you're a Swedish citizen, of course, because they can't ban you if you're a Swedish citizen. But if you're a foreigner, they can do that.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. So like just arbitrary, no due process there. I mean, yeah.
I mean, there is a process. You can take it to court, of course, but
Okay.
it's just so weird that the police has that kind of power.
Yeah, yeah,
And I didn't even know they had it. So if that sounds authoritarian, to me it sounds very authoritarian.
yeah, and that
So,
you just found that out the other day. It's well, you could spend a whole lifetime learning about what powers the government has, right?
yeah, and they give themselves new ones every day. And
Mm-hmm. Well, you are a well-known agorist, and I don't know if we've ever really defined. We've mentioned agorism on the show, but we've never really had like a deep discussion on it. Um, do you want to go into that a little bit and just kind of tell us what agorism is and kind of like the idea behind it, like, and I guess yeah, go ahead and go into that, and I'll have questions.
sure, I'm. Where do you even start?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, do you want to go into the history of it? Just
no,
like
not
who
really.
came up?
No, not really. I'm terrible at the history of it.
Okay.
So that's a bad start. But the idea is to be a consistent, take libertarianism consistently, right?
Yeah.
When others like to use the political power structure to make libertarian change, the agorists just sidestep the entire political system and decide to do, if we want to do this now and we're not hurting anybody, so we are morally allowed to do it, so we're just going to find the solutions to do it and not get caught.
Yeah.
That's the 30-second rundown of the algorithms.
So yeah, like just get involved in the gray and black markets and just circumvent the state and basically try to give them as little of your income as possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. Taxation is theft.
Yeah.
Um, slave taxation is could be slavery as well. And if any moral person is against slavery and theft,
Yeah.
so if you're not giving up, you should always be allowed to say no. Right.
Right. Opt out.
Yep.
Nah, I totally agree with that. Now, do you
And
oh, go ahead.
arguably, that's what all the other strains of libertarianism is all about too. Um, but agorism, I would argue that agorists, you can't just say that you're an agorist and then that's it. You have to also,
Right. Yeah, you got to back it up.
yeah,
Yeah, take action and that's the whole yeah, like what's the use of your philosophy if you aren't actually practicing what you believe in?
yeah. I mean, sooner or later you have to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not living how you want to live, and that's just going to make you miserable and sad.
No, yeah, I mean exactly. And that's why a lot of libertarians are libertarians is that like consistency is very important to us, you know. That's how a lot of people, come to the movement where they don't like the logical or the cognitive dissonance of statism, wherever they come on that scale, right, or that spectrum. But they'll come to libertarianism and they love the consistency and at least logically. And then for a lot of us, it's you practice what you preach and you live it out. So I guess I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a question about agorism that Derek from Burning Boots often brings up uh, on his show. Uh, do you think that agorism is in like maybe we'll go in and of itself, agorism by itself? Do you think that is enough to bring about the abolition or the just the collapse of the state?
Here's where I'm different than most other agorists, at least as far as I've as far as those that I met, right?
Yeah.
There is this idea that either we all go to the agora together, like we or none of us go to the Agora, and so it's exactly like a political system. So either my team wins, and then we are the winners, and we decide the outcome of everybody else,
Yeah.
or my team loses, and we can't have anything of that. And to me, that's not how things work.
Yeah.
That's I get how you can see it that way, but that's mm, this is going to sound harsh. It's basically brainwashing. You're brainwashed by the current system, because that's how the current system works. I can be the only agorist in my city, and I can maximize my freedom as much as possible. But that doesn't mean that everybody around me has to do it as well, right?
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be free. They want to be tax slaves. They want to be drones in a factory somewhere, uh, and that's what they prefer. That's makes them happy. uh, and that's their choice, right? I'm not going to try and take away their choice for them. I can show them a better way.
Yeah.
But so, of course, if the goal is that everybody has to be free, then you're forcing freedom upon people, and that's not how freedom gets manifested into the world, right? So,
Right. Yeah, exactly. So
I can see I'm starting to use a phrase that I like a lot: economic separatism, because separatism is the idea that you're separating yourself from the dominant culture around you, right?
yeah.
And economic separatism is not based on ethnicity or geography or these other kinds of separatism. That's traditional separatism, so to speak. Like if you have a language difference, you are huddling together with the same that speaks the same language or something like that.
Yeah.
Economic separatism is borderless, especially since Bitcoin hit the scene, stuff like that. So we can still operate. The state can stay can stand in the middle like a monolith and be as authoritarian as it wants. But agorists are still going to figure out how to be freer, even with a boot on the neck.
Yeah, so from what I'm hearing, like it's definitely more about personal freedom than it is about trying to accomplish some grand goal, right? So and I'm totally on board with that.
Everything
I'm
has to start small, right? Everything is started. Agorism is an individualistic philosophy, not a collectivist.
yeah.
And the individual, if I'm trying to make people free, I need to be free first. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And like what you're doing is setting an example for others to see and look at, and then it's up to them it's up to them to decide if they like if that's what they want.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe it's not for them, and then maybe they like these. They like the rules. They like the laws. They like the tax.
They want to send their kids to the public indoctrination camps, right? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some comfort in that, right?
yeah.
And it's a system that's very old. It's very refined, and it's getting better at luring people in. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Every,
yeah.
every election is the most important election, right?
Oh, yes, exactly. I don't know if I've ever, like, in my lifetime, if there's ever been an election that hasn't been the most important election. So
No, everything is super serious.
oh yeah. And you have to, yeah, exactly. You have to pay attention. You have to vote, and
Take the vaccine.
yeah, exactly. And
Plus,
man, with the vaccine thing, the crazy part about that is that people have already decided in their mind that this vaccine, which hasn't been created yet, hasn't been tested, they're already going to take it.
yeah,
And that's next level, you
that's
know.
so scary.
Yeah.
So I have a 2 month. My son is 2 months now, and we're starting with a vaccine regime. And I'm not anti-vax by any means. I understand the science, and it's a
yeah,
great invention.
right.
But you can still be skeptical about the specific vaccine they're going to put into my baby, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I just for fun, when we had the last shots at the hospital, where there's plenty more to come, but this was the first round of it. And I asked the nurse if she knew which company was making the vaccine. And she is like scrambling around her paper. I'm not sure, but I can look it up. Have this catalog where where all this information is, right? And that catalog is somewhere on an office somewhere. And I asked her, okay, but do you know what is inside the vaccine? And she starting to get upset because she can't answer my questions, right? And it's so weird because she wouldn't think twice about injecting this stuff into my son, and and she's never reflected on what it is she's doing, because it's just what you do, right? It's the
Yeah.
normal thing. Of course, it's safe and stuff like that.
Yeah, and exactly, that's a
It's
great
just
point.
given.
Yeah, yeah, we take it for granted that these health professionals, that they know what they're doing, and they've looked into everything. They understand the science and the everything behind kind of what they're doing. But I think sometimes we give them a little bit too much credit because they're going through a maybe just like a different version of indoctrination in some ways. I'm not trying to take away from the education that they get. I know that they do learn a lot, but in some ways they're just as bad as everyone else in terms of not questioning the standard, the status quo.
Yeah, and it's even worse for them because they are mostly like very compassionate people. They care. You don't go to nursing school if you're an asshole. Yeah, but you don't start as an, because you're most of the time you want to help people. That's what you're supposed to do for a living, right?
Yeah.
Heal people. It's so easy to corrupt people. That's that's the thing.
Yeah, and then part of that is you have people that are spending what, like 8, 12 years uh studying medicine, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a huge time investment.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And trying to tell them that, hey, like, maybe you don't understand these things quite as much as you think you do. Like, you're not really going to get anywhere with it, with most of these, with most people.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if agorism is for sure not for everybody, and if you are a real agorist in quotation marks, you don't anybody else. It's mostly about self defense, like economical self defense.
Yeah, you're just trying to preserve what's yours, and be involved with the state as little as you can possibly be.
Yeah, and you're not defeated just because you have to get involved. If you have to drive on a government road every night, or even if you pay taxes,
Yeah.
every little bit counts.
Wait, you're saying that you drive on government roads and you have a driver's license, and yeah, yeah,
That's you can't be a real anarchist.
yeah. If you don't live in the woods that is probably state property, then you're not a real libertarian or a real agorist.
Mm. Oh, you participate in society. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got some crap for getting married, for getting like an official marriage license.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well,
If it's otherwise, you won't do it, right?
yeah, it's trying to, at some point I'm gonna have to, at some point that's gonna affect me in my taxes, and I'd prefer to, give the government as little as possible.
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
If the state want to give you, the state are like the rich people don't write the rules, more or less.
Yeah.
Here in Norway, you see it specifically because everything the rich guys like is less taxed or not taxed at all, or you get tax benefits or something like that for it. So all the smart people are just looking what the rich guys are doing and do the same because because then you're paying less taxes, and that's the goal, right?
Yeah. No,
It's
for
the
sure.
suckers that it's the suckers that work like a 9 to 5, like a regular job, and don't own any assets or don't own any stocks or stuff, or they don't own their house they live in, they're just renting. They get no tax benefits at all. So so they're they're like they take on the whole burden themselves.
Yeah. And
That's bad. That's really bad.
yeah, and it always seems to be the middle class that is taking on the bulk of the tax burden, and then the people who are less well off are used as the excuse. So like, you gotta help these people, but really it's that you're paying for everything, and the poor people are just being used as the excuse, and then the rich people are getting away with not sharing that load, which obviously I'm not advocating that we tax rich people more, but that's just kind of the situation that you're in if you're a middle class person.
No, and it's always great to look at what they are doing, because
Yeah.
usually the reason usually is that it's they don't pay as much taxes.
Yeah, and that makes total sense.
And
um
and when I was growing up, there was this idea of the Swiss bank account or the Cayman Island bank account.
yeah.
And right now, anybody who wants to can have one of those. And even better, because I think the Swiss banks need to start reporting to United States and stuff. If someone is trying to hide money in a Swiss bank account, they have some kind of leverage on it.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
not as airtight anymore as it used to be. I think Cayman Island is still pretty lax in the tax department.
Okay.
But Bitcoin is like a Swiss bank account that you can wear in your pocket
Yeah.
if you want. so, so so it's getting there. The technology is slowly setting us freer and freer and freer.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and get into some of the different projects that you're personally involved in, and just different ways that someone can practice agorism without yeah, just practical ways to get into that and minimize state involvement in their life. So yeah, if you just want to go ahead and get into your the projects that you're working on right now.
I am a beer brewer by that's my day job. It's closed down right now because of COVID stuff, but that's what I usually do when I'm not on a podcast.
Yeah.
And the government decided to limit the opening hours for bars and add these restrictions that you need to be a certain amount of meters from each other at the bar, stuff like that. So what people decided to do instead is do home parties and parties at the parks.
Yeah.
We are social creatures, and we are going to party no matter what
Yeah.
police tell us to do. And I decided to brew beer and sell it to these people going to the park, and it's a very lucrative thing, because imagine all the taxes on just brewing the stuff itself is just ridiculous. Like
Oh
an
yeah.
alcohol tax here, and then you have a sales tax, which is 25%, I think.
Oh wow.
Higher in beer. I'm not 100% sure. It was a long time since I bought beer in a store. But you can
Nice.
imagine how advantageously I can price my beer if you compare it to what you can buy in the states in the stores.
Oh yeah.
So I don't have any tax. I'm not collecting taxes.
Right.
So for something that the regular person buys at the store for $8, they buy from me for $2.50.
Wow. Yeah. And so you have that competitive advantage there.
Yes, and it's selling alcohol is very 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 easy. especially when your price is just bonkers.
Right.
I had people like ask me like, "Do you steal this stuff? Why is it so cheap?"
Yeah, and then you're not subject to the same regulations that you probably would be at your day job, right? So,
Oh no. Um, I'm taking it take brewing very seriously. So I'm strict with cleaning,
oh, right.
uh, sourcing ingredients that I know I'm not going to put something into the my brew that's going to be sketchy.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But that's because I'm a very familiar face with the people that has home parties. So if I'm starting to sell them some shit that is going to hurt them in some way, then it's time just stop buying from me, or they will rat me out to the police.
Yeah, yeah. So you gotta make sure that people keep buying from you, and then obviously you don't want to be poisoning people.
I have some pride in my work.
Right. It
And
seems unethical, right? So,
yeah, and I've finally started to distilling spirits takes some time, especially if you are like me and I want to spice the spirits. So finally, the stuff I was starting to make 2 months ago are finally drinkable, and the profit margins on that is even crazier than beer. So I make $12 in profit per bottle that I'm selling.
oh wow. Yeah, yeah, that's really good.
So I think I've clocked in at $2,000 in profit this last 2 weeks.
2 week. Whoa. Yeah, no, that's amazing, dude.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, the risk is very high though, because it's illegal to do to home distill.
Right.
It's not illegal to brew your own beer. It's illegal to sell your own beer without a license, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So just owning this still is pretty illegal. So there's
Oh.
risks involved, of course.
Yeah. Um I mean, I don't want to get, like too much into, I guess I don't want you to reveal anything that would like.
I'm not stealing at home. Let's just
All right, all
put
right.
it that way.
Okay.
The police can't knock down my door. They can knock down my door, but they won't find anything here.
Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah. I was gonna say, you probably have to have quite a bit of room to do the like brewing and manufacturing of alcohol. From the little bit that I know.
Yeah, you need some elbow space, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
that's really cool, man. You're providing for the needs of the public, and you're doing it at a much lower price than the state regulated manufacturers can do it.
Yeah, which I am one of those. I've seen the calculations we make when we are pricing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just a brewer, and I'm just an apprentice brewer as well. So I'm not too involved in the bureaucracy the side of the business. But it's just crazy. I just did some napkin math, and hey, if I'm, I'm brewing this and selling it, I can make so much money.
Yeah.
So that's my current project. I am also growing tobacco.
Oh, wow. I okay. I'm surprised that it grows up in Norway.
Me too.
Yeah, just
You have to be very specific with the tobacco, and because there are some strains of tobacco that's more fit for shade, uh, that doesn't require as much sun and likes to grow in the shade.
okay.
So I picked up two versions of that that's growing very well, and some that hasn't grown at all. It was just a waste of time, but I know too.
And
That's
so do you like I'm not much of a smoke. Like I actually I've never smoked, but like so do you you take the tobacco and you process it into like a cigarette or anything like that, or do you sell it?
I did it last year. We were three friends that grew tobacco on our each balcony. I have a house now this year, so I have more space to grow. So I'm doing it this solo. But last year, when we were growing tobacco for cigarettes, we just dried it. We grew it, dried it, and then we shredded it for cigarettes.
Yeah. Wow.
With the more space, I'm aiming to make cigars, and then you have to dry the tobacco, and then you ferment it, and then you can roll cigars with it.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like I mean, as taking for granted that you can grow it, it doesn't seem that it would be actually that hard to do any of that, right?
I don't know. I have never tried to roll a cigar yet. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure. And I'm bad with those kind of fiddly stuff. I'm not even sure if I can do it, but I'm going to try at least.
Yeah.
And if I fail, I can just shred it into cigarettes
Yeah. Yeah.
as a backup.
Yeah. And then
Like tobacco is very easy to grow as long as you feed it a lot of fertilizer. I have a compost fertilizer here, so I make my own fertilizer.
well, in the U.S. we have different purposes for fertilizer, but we won't get into that.
Ah, yeah.
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 No, that's cool, man. Uh,
That's the two main projects I'm doing right now.
yeah, and then when we were chatting before this, you mentioned you're looking into drone technology.
Yes, I've always been fascinated by drones overall, and I have a friend in Sweden that is a computer programmer, software programmer, and together have been experimenting with drones for security purposes. So we have a drone. He has written a program like a guard dog,
Yeah.
but a digital guard dog. So he has been supplying the software, and I've been supplying the Bitcoin to make it work.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So what we did, he did the heavy lifting. He programmed a security drone that has a specific route that it takes, and it randomizes its routes so you can't. If you're a person that wants to attack the location with our security drone
Yeah.
attached to it, you can't observe its pattern because it's random
Oh wow. Okay.
going to be pattern.
Oh
And,
okay. That's
and in connection with that, and we put some good cameras on it, and we do some facial recognition tests with it as well. So police officer is approaching the site we have the drone at, he can send us a warning
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Well, okay. I didn't really know that. Like I mean, I kind of knew that it was possible to like program a drone to patrol an area, but I hadn't put much thought into it, I guess. And wow. So
The
I
big problem with drones is the battery
yeah.
life is very short. So we have a network that knows the battery levels of all the drones in the network, and then they send out one of the with the most
Oh wow.
battery life.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
so software side, I'm terrible at that kind of side, which is a shame because if I want to learn more about that because it's so freaking cool to code.
yeah. Like I'm like I'm kind of curious about this now. Like I'm gonna have to look this up after we quit recording. But
Uh,
yeah,
it's the next project I want to try and start up. So the facial recognition software on our drone network is pretty cool as well, because then we flipped the social engineering control mechanism of facial recognition. We have pirated most of the software, and my friend has recoded some of it to fit our purposes. And it works so well with facial recognition software. We tried it with just pictures of people, and the software knows when it sees a picture and it sees a live person. There's so much details to say about it that it's we could have just a whole episode in just facial recognition software.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. But we use it as a test, and the hardest part with the facial recognition software is that you need a large database of information.
Right.
So even if the facial recognition software can just spot a person, like, okay, this is a person, you need more data, right?
Yeah.
So our drones knows who I am and who my friend is. They can spot us.
Wow.
If we're wearing masks, or if we are having a cap on, baseball cap on, or anything like that, they still recognize us and open the doors for us.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that's, I don't think a lot of people realize that about facial recognition technologies, that the masks really don't do anything as long as you have some, up to date software. So
yeah, it can help. It depends on the angles and stuff like that. We don't have the smartest software either, because the smart software can make up can make stuff up.
Yeah.
How it's supposed to look under the mask.
Wow.
Ours are not the cutting edge version.
Right.
We can get it. It's just not worth the price. But we built a small database of police officers just for fun, and it's all public photos. So it's from the police, the local police department's Facebook page or homepage, and
yeah.
And it's Instagram. People are checked in, and then we just look through the data. We made a script to look through the database and see who is a police officer on Facebook at the police department, stuff like that. And it's just out there for free, and they're giving it to us as per. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome.
Thanks. And some of these police officers just can't help themselves, right? When they have made an arrest and they have to tie themselves to the police station and then make a humble brag on Facebook status or something.
Right. Yeah. It's the cop standing proudly in front of like three grams of weed or something,
Yeah. Thanks. The face.
Yeah. That I love it when I get on Facebook, and I don't, Facebook is my favorite place to hang out, but if I ever find one of those the type of posts that we're talking about, where they arrested or extorted some poor guy for some victimless crime, I always like to let them know exactly what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to do it on your main account, your real account. So.
Yeah, of course.
And then I guess to kind of round out this discussion, you're talking about how you've been paying attention to the 3D printed gun community.
Yeah, so Ivan and Control Q has done some really great work, and I want to do the same, but for drones. So 3D printed drones.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't 3D print, just like you can't 3D print a whole gun, you can't 3D print a whole drone.
Right.
Because some of the electric stuff is just, you have to fix without the printer. So in the next few days. Today is the 29th of August. I'm not sure when you're releasing this episode, but the 31st of August, we'll have a mission statement about a institute I'm going to start. That's going to take care of a practical part about collecting schematics, ideas, and all that, and designs and code for drones that you can print out on your 3D printer.
Yeah.
So you can do all the. We have a security drone. What I would like to fix is a delivery drone, because life would be so much easier if I didn't have to go into town and drop off liquor all the time.
Right.
That would
It'd be a little bit safer too, right? If you could just use a
yeah,
drone.
yeah, of course, yeah. And you can tack on a fee to that as well.
Yeah.
Home delivery stuff for a fee. And it's not only great for me, it's great for everybody who's doing some off-the-books production and wants a discreet way to drop it off in some way. So what the Institute is going to do exactly like Control Q is doing for 3D printed guns, and that is posting projects if you are the person finishing the project.
Yeah, no, that sounds really awesome. Do you have a website up for the Institute?
I think we're going to keep it without a home page.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure how we're going to distribute the files yet, but it's that's a practical issue that's very easy to solve.
Right.
Worst case scenario, I'm going to get a little web page anyway. Yeah, if I find a way to do it more or less anonymously.
All right. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And are you gonna make like an announcement on Twitter or anything?
Yeah.
All right.
But this is the first podcast I'm telling this stuff about. I'm looking forward to it. I'm writing the mission statement as I've been doing it for the last week or so, and it's going to be interesting. I'm hoping people want to participate. It's more complex than the 3D printed guns because there's more different kinds of subjects involved. It's coding,
Right.
law knowledge, because laws are very different in very different places. The drones, we are lucky here in Norway that the state hasn't really regulated drones that much yet. But in the United States, I think it's very draconian, I think.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know a ton about it, but yeah, I do know that we have a few regulations at the very least.
Yeah. And Uber is going to make a delivery part with drones, and they are working with the federal. I don't remember what the federal enforcement office with flying objects are called.
Oh, that would be well, I yeah, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I know which one you're talking about.
Uber is working with those guys. So.
And then I've heard Amazon as well. In fact, I think they already do it.
Yep. And it's so cool, interesting to see that these big guys are so restricted by regulations. I don't think pirate drones are going to be as affected by it, but, but it's going to be a practical issue down the line sooner or later, because police are going to have to look up at the sky sooner or later.
Right. No, yeah, that makes sense.
But there's a lot of practical issues with drones that I can't solve on my own. So that's why it's great to have an institute that can give monetary bounties to people that want to solve problems.
Yeah.
And
have you thought about starting a key-based server?
Yes. Yeah. That's one of those are coming up as well.
Okay. Yeah.
That's very easy.
And then two questions going back to the drones specifically. Basically, are they like are your drones like are they pretty loud or are they fairly quiet so that they don't?
They are not so strong. So they give off sound. Yes,
Okay.
it's very hard to. That's one of the things I want to figure out because it's so annoying. Because I want a sneaky sneaky drone.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, if you are a person that's you will hear it when it's close by.
Yeah.
There's if you have never heard a drone before, it might stumble you for a bit, but then you see it, right?
And then like about roughly how high do you keep them flying when they're patrolling around?
6 meters up.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's
It's the highest point.
okay. Yeah, yeah. So these are like smaller drones that
Yeah. It's a quadcopter equipped with 2 cameras.
okay.
And,
Yeah, yeah.
we you can space out with more cameras if you want. And if you want to make delivery drones, you have to definitely have more cameras because there's more stuff to bump into. But our environment is controlled, and we have mapped it out for the drones.
Okay. Yeah.
So
No, that
there's no
makes sense.
surprises for them. They can just bump into something that's not supposed to be there.
Right. Wow. Well, I'm really looking forward to learning more about this, and I'll be watching your Twitter, and then if you talked about, if you start that Keybase, that's definitely something I'll be joining, and yeah, it's really cool that Dissecting Liberty got to be the first the first podcast to talk to you about this.
Yeah,
I had no idea uh, that
surprise.
yeah. This wasn't even planned on my part, so
No, not me neither. But it was. I've been working on it for so long in the back burner, and it's so close to being done. I'm expecting to be finished with a mission statement in 2 days. I hope, and then the first projects are going to be launched the same day, I think. So if you're a coder or a 3D print designer, you can get yourself some Bitcoin.
yeah. Hit up Alex. He'll hook you up and get you connected.
This is I'm looking forward to it, and I like playing around with my 3D printer. So it's going to be fun to see what people make.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. We're getting close to the hour mark.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't go over that you wanted to mention here at the end?
I think we did all the stuff I dropped into DM group. Yeah, I think. Yep.
All right. Well, it's been a great conversation. We've I'm over here with my dog and cat, and they're messing with each other. I hope that the mic isn't picking that up too much. Uh, but no, it's been a great conversation. We've gone over quite a few um, different options for people to look into in terms of practicing agorism and just maximizing personal freedom. So it's been great having you on. And for anyone who wants to get a hold of Alex or follow him on social media, etc., we're going to have that in the description. And appreciate having you on, buddy.
Oh, it was my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right. Well, this is Liberty Zero reminding you to zero your rifle. And Cotton's not here. Sorry. I'm not going to. That's it.